What's up, Dragon Brood? Today, I was in a little bit of a quandary. I was up late streaming, and I kind of started thinking about different versions of Mono Black Aggro. And I had some that I was already goofing around with. I had somebody submit one on stream a couple nights ago. I saw a neat one from the Star City events over the weekend, and realized that there's some differences between them that do make some better for best of 3 and also better for best of 1. So this video is going to be a little bit different as we're going to talk about two different mono black decks, but we're only going to play one of them. So I hope that's not too weird for people, but I kind of just wanted to show some differences and do how decks can be constructed if you do want to play this style of deck and why they can be different. So with all that being said, let's go take a look at these two different versions of mono black aggro. Alright, so let's start with the one that's the best of 3 version. This one we got from the Star City of online event over the weekend. And this one plays a bit differently in the sense that you're still doing Blood Chief's Thirst, because it's still a good quality removal. It's good against the aggro decks. Champion of the Paris, obviously if you're playing aggro with enough zombies, you make use of it. Playing Dungeon Crawler, good stuff. No real complaints here. The problem here, though, is like if you're playing on the ladder, you don't necessarily want both Dungeon Crawler and White in the same deck, right? Having too many creatures that can't block is a big detriment. So you have to really gauge that. However, from the looks of the tournaments over the weekend and the Star City events, you weren't really playing a ton of that. You're either playing against mono green or the Izzet decks for the most part. There was some like mono white aggro sprinkled in there, whatever, but you really were hard targeting those two decks. Now, I would say the Dungeon Crawler and White combination is a bit of a detriment in the mono green matchups. However, they aren't going as wide as the White decks, so you do have a chance to kind of slowly get into the groove and block or whatever over a couple of turns. Now, it is also playing Duress, which again, if you're playing against those Izzet decks or anything else, like Duress is pretty good. And even against mono green, Duress actually has some value, because you can get Snakeskin Veil. Some of them are still playing the Inscription of Abundance. You can get Ranger class if they're playing Ren and 6 and Chariot. Like, lots of viable targets you can get there. Blizzard Brawl is another one, right? So lots of spells. But not so much when you're playing against the mono white aggro a bunch, right? You only run into what do they even have? I guess Portable Hole, like you can get, and I don't think there's much else, right? So it really depends on what you expect to see in the metagame. Now, that being said, Infernal Grasp is kind of the other way around, right? It's good against all the aggro decks, bad against the Izzet decks to a point. So another thing we can kind of look at and gauge here, that how many of these do we need? Similarly, you're playing Skyclave Shade, and this is another one, right? Where if you're worried about all the aggro decks you're going to see, then having this many things come into play tapped or things they can't block, it becomes a detriment. But when you're playing in a tournament setting where that's less likely, then go for it. Now, that's not to say every week's going to be the same, but I do understand why some of these card choices were made. Tainted Adversary, just good in general. We talked about White already. Graveyard Trespasser is the interesting one on this list because it's not a zombie, so it's not really feeding that whole chain of stuff. But at the same time, being able to get a 3/3 or 4/4 that is able to kind of slowly drain your opponent over a couple turns, or even flip if your opponent chooses not to do anything because they're just going to foretell some stuff, well, then you get a 4/4, right? Like, that's pretty sweet too for 3 mana. And in those scenarios, it's probably going to be very good. So there's going to be matchups where that's pretty spectacular. Now, again, against the aggro decks, is it a thing? Not so much, but something to think about. Now, I did make one change to that list and play the Rise of the Dreadmarn, which is here, so if you want it, cool. It actually did come into play and do some cool things for us, so I don't hate it. Something to consider. Ebon Death also, this plays 3 copies. I think the original list played a 4th copy, whereas I had the Rise of the Dreadmarn. But either way, this again is kind of playing toward those games going a little bit longer, knowing that you might need to play something during their instep to force them to spend mana or not, so you don't have to tap and maybe get hit with like I don't know, divide by 0 and then they get to use their stuff before you do. You know, you don't want to be in those kind of situations. So Ebb and Death having Flash really does help solve that. And then, of course, you get to play a full set of Agadeem's Awakening, Hive of the Eye Tyrants. This only played 3 because it's also playing Faceless Haven, and then a whole bunch of snow-covered swamps. So the reason I show this one is you can tell where there's some decisions being made based on what the person playing this was expecting to run into. And I believe they were either X and 1 or X and 2 in that event. So they did very well with this list. So something to consider if you're playing best of 3. This probably can work for that environment. Sideboard-wise, they went in more on like Bloodchief Sirs, Skyclave Shades, there's the Meat Hook Massacres. And again, this is where we talk about being better in best of 3 versus best of 1, right? Because if you do need stuff for those aggro decks, the small white decks, whatever, well then you can bring in the Meat Hook Massacres. But you can't really do that in best of 1. You sort of have to make your decision and, you know, just pick your spots wherever. Pithing Needle, probably for Planeswalkers. And then for those Izzet matchups, a bunch more discard, right? More check for traps, a full set, and then 2 power word kills, which I'm assuming are to help with both general aggro matchups, but probably also the mono green matchup. So you can see how they made some concessions to a few cards here and saying, okay, I'm going to give up certain matchups, and then I'm just going to put everything else in the sideboard to help those matchups. And that makes a lot of sense. So, looks different. I'm just going to have this one on screen. I'm not going to necessarily have this one linked just because it's harder to link multiple decks or whatever. But also, I don't want to be confusion because there's going to be 2 mono black aggro lists. I'd rather just have one over on my Aetherhub page. But yeah, this one's one to talk about. If you're playing best of 3, you probably want to play this one of the 2 that we have. So now we're going to take a look at the best of 1 version. And then this version is actually interesting because it's kind of an amalgamation of the version I had and the version a viewer had on stream on Twitch on Thursday night. So we kind of, or I guess on Saturday afternoon, because we did a Saturday afternoon stream this week. So we kind of have, it's very similar. I think even the list they submitted, I think I'm something like maybe 6 or 7 cards different. But this one is more focused, more straightforward, and just taking into account that, like, okay, we're going to have more creatures, but we're using our creatures to play the longer game. So see what I mean by that. But Champion of the Parish, again, still great card, still rolling with it. Duress, also good. And then here, because we're playing more creatures, we're like, okay, here's what we're going to use to try to fix some of our matchups, right? We have 1 mana removal spells to get rid of planeswalkers or creatures. And we have some things that also make decayed zombie tokens, so that's going to make this okay to play here. Then we have Malika Rebirth, mostly kind of a cheat to be able to get to reuse our creatures, but also if you get something back with Champion of Paris on the board, it's kind of neat. But it allows us to cheat on land a little bit, so this is another reason it's in the list. Then we have Shambling Ghast, and again, this is where we're playing Shambling Ghast and not playing the 2-1, right? Because this doesn't come into play tapped. The other thing we like about this is it lets us battle 2/2s, which is a pretty big deal. It can also get us treasure if we're landlight or if we need to pay the extra cost on a Tainted Adversary, as an example, right? So there's a few different things it does for us here that we don't have access to in the other list. But the other one can go for raw power, assuming it's trying to win different matchups, right? Because here, we know we may just be running into creatures sometimes, and we want to be able to kill some of them if possible, or hold them at bay. Whereas, if this was the 2-1, we're saying, okay, we're not really worried about the aggro creatures all that much. We would rather have something that hits for more, so we can just keep rolling those out, right? So a little bit of a different situation. Village Rites, again, we have some things we're going to be able to sacrifice, so this is a way to get cards in our hand. Infernal Grasp, I would honestly be okay with this list making some adjustments here and probably playing more Infernal Grasp, but I think 2 is fine for the most part since we also have Eaten Alives in here. Jadar, Ghoulcaller of Nephalia, we have 3 of these, and this is one of those ones that's making the zombies every turn, right? So that gives you something to sacrifice to the Village Rites, to the Eaten Alive. Also, Tainted Adversary gets to make zombies, and it's just Death Touch, and it's good. Morbid Opportunist, this is another one that's pretty good in this list. Because you're playing stuff like Eaten Alive, Village Rites, like this can get you more cards and kind of keep your hand going, but you don't necessarily have to sacrifice creatures. And the fact that it's a 1/3 is also very nice because it can block a fair amount of things. Doesn't necessarily kill a lot of things, but it can buy you the turn or 2 you need to get to one of your Death Touchers or a bigger creature. We're playing 2 Ebon Death Draco Lich, so we're not going 3 or 4 like the other list had, but it is still worth having if you do end up in those situations where the games go longer. And then of course Loth as well is in this list, because again, you kind of have to play the mid-range game on some, like as much as we're playing a heavy aggro, we do have like 6 cards to help us get to the end, right? And that's the Draco Lich, Loth, and 2 Meathook Massacre. And all of these could be relevant at different stages of the game, but we kind of just need these to fill those gaps, get us to the end. You can't overly hedge one way or the other when you're playing best of one. So this is letting us be as linear as we can be with a couple of cards we can have late game, you know. And then the lands, we're going with 4 Hive Tyrant, 1 Hostile, and 13 Swamps. And the Hostiles are in here because, one, if we just need to sacrifice a gas to get treasure, we can do that. If we're in a situation where attacking for 2 doesn't do any good, we can sacrifice this, just fill it up, and eventually get the Hostile live. But we could also use it as an opportunity to just draw cards. Especially if you have multiple opportunists on the board, being able to sacrifice a creature and get 2 cards or 3 cards is a big deal. So it's another way to do that. Or if you're under Meathook Massacre and it's just like, cool, every turn, I'm just going to sack a thing and, you know, just finish you off that way. Not the most efficient way to kill somebody, by the way, but it's a thing you can do. But anyway, like I said, I wanted to kind of show how there's multiple different builds and how they could be doing different things depending on what your goals are with the deck or what you're worried about facing. But the formats really do, or the structures, I should say, really do make a difference for how your card choices should be considered. But anyway, we're going to go play some games with this. And then, like I said, after the games are done, we'll talk about the updates or changes we would make to this list. I guess we keep it. I mean, it'd be nice if we found a turn 1 thing here. That would be cool. A duress. Well, you get a Loth. That is a useful duress. It did a thing. Yeah, sure. No attacks. I'm gonna wait till we can at least get the Morbid Opportunist down and then try to attack. Well, it's neat that we got another one. Not that this one's necessarily gonna live, but it's cool that we have it. Oh, it's dead. Oh, opponent's like, no, I don't want to block then. Fair. Turgrid's Lantern? How did I know that was coming? You know what? When's it 17? I'm gonna sacrifice this. So I get a card. Kill that. Oh, that's nice. That doesn't suck. That's... Man. I'm just thinking. I think I have to put the Massacre down first, because they could be playing a lot of discard 2 things. And we'd just be greedy to do it any other way. Because now, even if it's like Loth or whatever, it's like, okay, fine. We'll get some cards, trade you some things. We'll just lose 3. Ooh. Almost good enough. Actually, crap. I should have played this first. Because now I have to run this into their land. Okay, they chose not to. Yeah, just lose 3. So yeah, I should have just done this initially. Honestly. Take the 3. Pass the turn. Because I could have just gained a life, kept them off some damage. You know, I could have done a couple things there. Resolve. We'll lose 3 more. Well, wasn't planning on getting to kill that, but that helps. Oh wait, hold on. I don't have a card to discard. Okay, that resolves. We end up at... Oh, they didn't get rid of a creature, so we don't go to 7. But I have to... Well, we drew the 4th opportunist. Okay, it is what it is, bruh. Sometimes. You just gotta do what you gotta do. Get us 2 cards. Attack. Play this duder. Save this so we can discard something. Though discarding or sacrificing the champion for life also isn't the worst thing either. Alright. Opponent is at 8. We can attack for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they have to block with their land here. Unless they have a kill card in hand. Okay, seems reasonable. Don't even know if we should be attacking with the Morbid Opportunists. Because they can't block that, so... 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, for sure with the Hive of the Eye Tyrant, for sure with that. Probably with that. Because we don't kill them. Whatever attack we get in here kills them next turn. Actually, no, they're going to take 1 whenever they block. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they have to block the Tainted Adversary. Okay, that's fine. No, these don't have lifelink, they have Menace. Oh, that's gonna get the opponent killed. Unless... Well, yeah, that's gonna get him. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Ooh, what do we do with this? I guess we keep it. Duress. Darn it. Well, yep, you get our Meat Hook Massacre. Yep, that was one of the main reasons we kept the hand, so that's pretty sad for us. That's pretty sad. Alright. Well, we're in trouble now. Because our hand's pretty poor from here on out. Yep. You know what, though? If we sack that, we can get both of those back with this next turn. So, I'm not excited about it, but... I mean, it's better than nothing. Because our hand's pretty terrible otherwise. And then there's still the possibility they have a Meat Hook Massacre, and then our hand does not... Oh, man. That was all for naught. Oh, that sucked. Okay. I guess we might as well use it. Okay. Creature up. They're gonna play all the discard. We gotta do something. Binding. Alright, get to kill a champion. Ooh. Alright, end the turn. See if maybe they try to use another discard spell on us. Because they look like they're obviously playing discard heavy. Which is a real strategy right now with all the Izzet decks being a thing. Do they not have an answer for that? Looks like no. Alright, well, that'll do it. Alright, well. Do we... Yeah, we just play it. If you kill it, you kill it. We'll just live with the consequences. Yeah, no blocks. Here comes a wolf. It's always a wolf. Let's duress the opponent here. Snakeskin Veil. Chariot. Inscription. All of those are bad for us. I don't like any of these. Chariot's probably the worst long term. Alright. I hate that they're going to have a fight spell, but we'll just have to live with it. No attacks. We double block. We put counters on it. How badly do we care? Because we play Adversary, that's definitely going to be what gets fought next turn, right? If we block everything to it, then they just put counters on it. We force them to use the inscription now, and we at least get Adversary next turn. So there's that. This is one of those times it sucks because I know what's in my opponent's hand. So I'm going to do this. Let them put the counters on it. Okay. Then we'll get the treasure. I guess I'll hold on to that. That might actually come into play later. As much as I want to wait around, that might be the thing we need. Alright, if they just found another fight spell, they find it, and there's nothing we could do about it. Like, we did what we could to navigate that. Alright, well, if you have it, you have it. Okay, they didn't. But they had another wolf, which is highly annoying. Okay, on the plus side, we can get two things back here. Alright, they'll get a card. We'll take 6. We're at a whole 11. Oh my lord, where are our creatures? 5 still lets us get 2 things back, so we're not going to sweat that too much. Alright, Snakeskin Veil, sure. And just 2 more critters back there. Alright, then let's do this. For 2, we'll get Tainted Adversary and I guess champion of the parish. I mean, we're likely just blocking with adversary anyway. Hopefully getting a card helps here. And we're only at 11. So we're not in a good spot at all. Oh, they found a ranger class. Right after we duress them. Like, that's such bad luck. Oh my gosh. Like, hey, if the opponents are just drawn hot, man, there's just nothing you can do. That's just brutal. Ah, and we just drew back-to-back lands. Alright. I'm willing to give that one up. Yeah, let's keep. Alright, let's see what we can do with this. Well, I guess we're doing this. Was there a Doomscar getting foretold? There was not a Doomscar getting foretold. Okay, well, what if we do this first? Let's see what you're working with, opponent. Oh, so this is the for real Lear deck. Alright, well, we'll take a divide by 0. I assume we can try to race that, maybe? I mean, if they get us from here, they just get us. I mean, that's just one where you just hats off to the opponent, you know? If you draw the cards, you draw the cards. Okay. I mean, Lear's not going to be good enough here. Alright, Field of Ruin, sure. I mean, that makes sure they don't die the following turn, so that's good for them. Though it does mean we have Infernal Grasp up. Actually, it's only 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it actually doesn't kill them. Even if they were Devastating Mastery. So we choose 2 non-land permanents they control. Alright. Resolves. We're going to keep this, and... I kind of want to keep that, dude, but I'm going to keep this. We'll get the treasure. Cute. Let's go with this. And this. And this. And do I just play this? Yeah, why not? I mean, if you just draw the Doomscar and can cast it, whatever. Like, I'll just take the treasure and see what happens. That's 9 exactly right now. Alright, and we can kill Lear, so... And then we get in there with everybody. Alright. Ranger class was tough. Alright. We're going to keep this. See what opponents got here. Nothing on turn 1. We will Jadar. Attack for 1. Make a Deuter. Turn that into a 2/2. We're going to need land pretty badly here, though. Alright, I think all we can do is kill that. Attack for 5. Turn the champion into a 3/3. And the reason we want to do that is because if they play a troll here, we can sack the token to exile the troll. Which they have a troll, so there you go. Though I do like having that. Unfortunately, this is a sorcery, so we kind of have to do it now. Alright, get in there. And the turn. Alright, there's a chariot. I think I'm willing to draw now. Because I feel like that's what we need to be doing. Oh, goodness. Really? Ah, boy. We got this, but nothing we can do with it, really. Alright, here's what we're going to do. At least turn our champion into a 5/5. Jumping with one. They could just as well play Lan and Rin and 7 here or something. They would have a 5/5 token. Nope, just a spare sentinel. And a troll. Alright. You're willing to trade your chariot for my adversary. Am I willing to trade there? Opponent's at 10. I mean, they can still chump block. Troll's gonna trample. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we need to. I feel like it's the right choice. And we're still in a spot where I guess if we just meat hook Massacre here, it's still as good as a win. Because when my opponent loses a creature, or whenever I have a creature control dies, my opponent loses a life. So might as well. Because we're doing nothing else here. I mean, we turn this into an 8, but they're just going to chump block anyway. Man, we're trying to do a lot with just 2 mana here. Yeah, I say we do it. For 0. Alright. We gain a life, opponent loses a life. Return that into a 7/7. And then we'll make it an 8/8 and have a Death Toucher next turn. Oh, no! Hope they miss. They did not miss in the worst way possible. The guy thing destroys our Massacre. Ugh. How unlucky. Such a bad beats. Such a bad beats. 4, 5, 6, 7. Good news is we can make this big enough that it doesn't care. Just put this in tapped so we can increase the odds of finally getting to play an Ebon Death, potentially. Alright, so a 9/9 champion of the parish is trying to get the work done against mono green here. It's trying to do all the work. Oh, opponent's gonna have a chance to gain some life now. So that's not good. And they found another chariot, which is going to gain 2 life and then future life. So much work to be done. Okay, fine. Maybe if we can stick this, it'll matter. That doesn't quite do it. But I don't hate that card either. Opponent has 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. They need 10 for that. Actually, have 9. So they get 1 more. They would be able to storm the festival again. If we attack with our big Champion of the Perished, opponent could actually make that 4, 4, and 1 and kill it. Unless we played this to make it a 10 and then have to throw more stuff in front of it. I mean, I guess this is all we can do here. It's kind of rough, but... I mean, I guess. For sure attack with that. For sure attack with that. It's just a matter of, do we also attack with our Tainted Adversary and trade it for something here? I think we do. The opponent's only at 9. Force them to have to do something here. Even if it's double, triple black on some small creatures or whatever. I mean, it's the only thing that makes sense. Yeah, put it all in front of it. I'm game for that. Actually, if we kill... Now, see, this is interesting, because we kill Jaspera Sentinel, and then they end up with almost no chance to storm the festival. So we kind of need that to be one of the things. So we need to kill 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 like that. That sucks, but I think we have to. I guess if I hadn't thought about them blocking like that, though, I could have possibly gotten in with Jadar as well. Oh, I guess the troll dies anyway, so they're still 1 away from Festival. So yeah, it really didn't change anything. Okay, so they're just making a troll. So now they can't Festival for at least another turn. So that's good to know. Oh, but they found a Wrenn and 7. Poop.
They prepare for war.
Why did we get stuck at 2 lands for so long? We could have been a contender. Yeah, I think we're dead now. Alright. Can't even... that's just a bad one. What do we do with... I guess, yeah, we keep this. And then we'll just have to make the most of it. Well, I was going to do something else, but then we drew this. So, attacking for 1 it is. Alright. Ranger class, sure. Okay, what do we do with the fact the opponent has a Ranger class? I'm assuming nothing, really. We just play this. And then we attack. With this and this. Alright. Can I not? I guess I have to set a trigger to do that. Okay. Oh, well, either way. Yeah, I think I have to play with the full control on. So after it deals damage, you can still, like, do the thing. But, you want to get rid of that? Do we just sacrifice it? I feel like I should. They don't really have a way to kill the Cathar anyway right now. Well, that wasn't going to help either. Okay, opponent, what you got? I mean, you could attack with the wolf. Oh, no, because you didn't level up your ranger class yet. So yeah, no good attacks there. Cute. I don't hate that. I'll go ahead and play another champion. And then I think we attack? With this and this. Seems more than reasonable. And we'll go ahead and duress. Hey, thanks for liking the stream. Ooh, we take an Arlen. What else is here? Reckless Stormseekers. Alright. In the turn. Alright. So they either get to play... Oh, they can't even play the Stormseekers yet, though, because they don't have red mana. Yeah. So that makes sense. Attack for 3 with something? Nope. They're just... Maybe. I mean, they are only at 10. Oh. Alright, opponent says, F it. I'm gonna come get it. Alright, we go to 15. I mean, I guess if they don't play anything, they could flip their dude, but then they risk just dying, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you can't do that. Alright, maybe that other card they got is the bomb. This is going to put 3 zombies in anyway. This makes it +3, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sure. And it's safer. Because it puts double the number of +1/+1 counters. Yeah, I was like, that was a weird attack from the opponent there. Ugh, what do we do with this? I think we mulligan. My hand's not good. This one's better. Keep this. Nah, I really don't know. I feel like I have to get rid of that. Kind of a gross feeling, but is what it is. Oh, this is not what we want to keep this against. No portable holes. There is a portable hole. Monk. Ugh, okay. Well, the good news is they're not going to go crazy on us between now and then. Bad news is I may actually have to sack this champion. And I don't really want to. I mean... Alright. Block. Sucks that I'm not going to kill that, but I know they're not going to be more than 1/1s. So... Okay, that's something. We didn't get the mana we needed. If I do this, though, this does automatically mean I'll be able to kill that next turn. So yeah, I guess we kind of have to. Gotta do this the right way. It sucks. I get to attack for 3, and then I can't really block anything. I mean, I guess I could, but I'm not. Ugh. Really? Oh, that's such an awful feeling. Yeah, not much we can do about it. That sucks. Yeah, we're dead already. Like, we're not even... we can't do anything there. Gonna... I mean... Yeah, we'll keep it. We'll keep it. I almost talked myself out of it, but... we're gonna roll with it, see what happens. Oh, the champion's dead, ain't he? Now I'd like to draw an untap land for next turn. Yep, champ dead. Okay. So if we don't get an untap land, we can put one of these in tapped, leave this one up for defense. Actually, no, that's not going to work. Well, I say that. We know this is going to be one of those matchups where duress is good. So what do you got, opponent? Oh, Cinderclasm, Test of Talents. Prismari Command, Deluge. Well, Test of Talents doesn't do much against us, so I'm not too worried about that. Prismari Command is annoying, but doesn't necessarily kill the things we have in our hand right now. Same can be said about Cinderclasm. So I think I'm going to take Deluge here. Granted, they can flash it back, but it costs like $1 million to do that, so that's fine. They'll likely just make a treasure and cycle their hand or whatever here, if I were guessing. Alright, attack for 2. That's all we can do in the turn. Now, on the plus side, if they play something that can block next turn, if we play the Morbid Opportunist, we at least get 2 cards there. Oh, the opponent didn't do any... They didn't... What? Really? Really? Now, why is that? I guess they're setting up to try to Prismari Command plus Cinderclasm, but even then, you didn't... Huh. I don't know what's happening. Like, I for real don't know. I'm a little bit perplexed here. But maybe the opponent's got a plan, and I just don't know what it is. I mean, who knows? Maybe they're going to double Cinderclasm or something next turn. Oh, they only have 2 red. They would need 3 red. I mean, I guess they could get that with Field of Ruin. Alright. Do we Shambling Ghast here? It's a matter of, like, do we want to keep mana up to save a creature? We're only attacking for 4. That's still 4 more turns, 5 more turns. Alright, I'm just going to end the turn. Let's see what the opponent's got going. Nothing. Okay, well. Not aware of what this plan is, then. I mean, maybe they're trying to save for Test of Talents and something, but even then, they could have... I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to quit trying to guess. Third Morbid Opportunist. Okay, then. Yeah, I guess we try. Why not? We'll at least get 3 cards if things die here. Alright, are we finally going to start killing stuff? And whatever you're going to kill is just going to result in more cards. Alright, so we're going to Prismari command one of them. Sure. And then leaving mana to... This feels like the version that's probably going to play the Battle of Frost and Fire, right? And if it is, we have to decide how much we want to really save a single Morbid Opportunist. We're better off saving something to fight after the Battle of Frost and Fire. Alright, so you're going to copy some stuff and take some extra turns. Cinderglasm to deal 1 to everything. Well, see, now I have to wonder what the rest of your hand is. You don't have an Epiphany yet that you can go off with. How much do I believe in Battle of Frost and Fire? You're going to take 3 here, go to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Alright. I'm just not going to be greedy. I'll take 3 cards. Oh, 2 cards, because one of them... Yeah. Alright. Those go. We'll do that. Play this. We at least get a treasure, if nothing else, when that dies. In the turn. So to sweep the board, we get 2 cards, and we end up with just a Tainted Adversary left. Potentially, depending on how they do it. Alright. So it's either another copy spell or another sweeper. Cute. Don't know how much that matters. Two, 3, 4, 5. I don't feel like I want to play Jadar. The only benefit, I mean, I sack this, I would get a card. I would get 2 cards, actually. That's probably worth doing, actually. Let's do that. I guess I might as well sack the one that can't block in case something weird happens. Okay, that's not bad to have here. Now we could duress. They could test the talents our duress, which is unfortunate. But nothing we're going to do about it. Yep. You get it, opponent. You get it. Alright, they're at 5. So even if they do Battle of Frost and Fire, we could do this the turn after, end up with 3 creatures. Well, possible 4 creatures, because we can save 1 as well. Alright, I mean, we did about all we could here. Alright, there's an Epiphany. No surprise. It's about what we expected. Question is there another? Because that's the part we don't know. Alright, so this does become a small issue because now they can deluge after double blocking. And that sucks a little bit. But what can we do if we were to draw a card here? Or are there relevant things that matter here? I don't really know. Okay, let's get in there. See what the opponent wants to do. Just gonna block there, take 2. Okay. get a treasure. Oh, that ain't bad. That ain't bad. Play this. They're still at 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, we could still do this. And block there. If you do get the Epiphany, you have 2 blockers. I mean, I'm gonna do it. I don't think they're playing it. They're gonna get like 3 turns anyway if they get their Epiphany, so be it. In the turn. Here comes the deluge. I'm gonna go let my cat out the room real quick while my opponent's deciding what to do. Alright, I'm back and they are still thinking apparently. They want to Prismari command that. So they did that instead of using their deluge. I think we just let that die. And then we'll just get 2 cards. Wait, did we not? Oh, because we already got the cards earlier from the combat. Never mind. Okay. Well, what do you got, opponent? I mean, you had all the cards. You did all the things. We have a lot of attackers. They're small, but there are many. Okay, well that's good. So now we're only worried about 1 card. That card could be an Epiphany, though. No, it's a burn down the house. Alright, well the opponent's only at 3, so let's save the adversary, since that's 2. I was just thinking if I want to save a Morbid Opportunist, but I don't. Well, that's a thing. That's pretty special, actually. We'll attack. Opponent goes to 1. We know they can't counter it, so we just play it for 0. So if our creature dies, they die. Oh, actually, no, we don't have... I was thinking if we had a way to kill our own creature. But I don't. I can... Oh, actually, yeah. The opponent's at 1. I can just sacrifice my dude. And get cards. That's pretty silly. But it's a way. Yeah, it's like not the most conventional way, but we'll take it. Yeah, okay, so first off, let me say I hope you kind of enjoyed this structure because it's a little bit different than what we normally do for these videos, but I figured it was an opportunity to kind of show some things. But that being said, I actually thought this was pretty good. If you do want to play mono black aggro, this is a reasonable version to consider. If there were a change I would make, it would probably be to cut either a Village Rites or an Opportunist to play an additional Infernal Grasp, I think is what I'd want to do. I think just the opportunity there, dealing with more of the aggro decks, giving you more potential outs, being able to kill like a brutal Cathar, get one of your key creatures back, something like that. I mean, there's a lot of those situations that came up that there were times I felt if I had one more removal card, it would have really helped out those matchups. So I would do that. I wouldn't even be surprised if it makes sense to go up to 4 Grasp if you're going to be playing on the ladder in best of 1, honestly. I would at least consider it. Now for today's card spotlight, we're going to talk about Noxious Ghoul for a couple of reasons. The first is, if that was available, man oh man would that card be awesome right now. But it's also randomly like a $5 or $6 uncommon from way back in, what was that? The Legions, actually, the set that was all creatures. And it has a couple of reprints, but all of them are valuable. And I don't know if it's a new thing, if it's maybe because it's played in, I guess, various zombie-based commander decks, or just we got a bunch of new zombies and everything that zombies, vampires, werewolves is all on the move because it's top of mind. Sometimes the markets just move like that. But yeah, it's a pretty sweet card. It really does a lot of work to eliminate your opponent's creatures, especially if they have small ones. And yeah, imagine if you had that with the Decayed stuff right now. That'd actually be pretty damn good. But yeah, just one of those ones that it was on theme, and I figured we would bring it up because I bet a bunch of people didn't know about it or even know how much they sold for. Don't forget, if you want today's deck list, you'll be able to get it down in the description below, along with links to our Facebook gaming streams and our Twitch streams, and our Discord if you want to come by, get deck help, ask questions, all that stuff. And if you come by the streams, you might get to have input on what shows up in these videos. And then finally, if you haven't, please remember, like, subscribe, notify, share, all that wonderful stuff, because your activity and your interactions are really what help the channel grow. And I really appreciate it. That's all I have for you for now. We'll see you next time.